The Los Angeles Lakers are the 15th seed in the West, and it doesn't look like they're getting better anytime soon. Let's talk about it. The Lakers are dead last in the Western Conference, starting off their season on 4. The only other defeated team in the Western Conference would be the Sacramento Kings. The Lakers have many problems that they have to deal with if they want to turn this season around, and I'm going to talk about just a few of the problems that they have. Starting off with what I think is their biggest problem is their three-point percentage. The Lakers are shooting on average 22.3% from the three-point field this season, which is, I would say, good enough, but it's not even good enough, which is bad enough for them to be the 30th overall ranked team in the NBA in three-point percentage. Now, if we break down game by game for these first 4 games of the season, we can see how terrible they've actually been shooting from three-point range. During the first game of the season, the Lakers went up against the Golden State Warriors, where they shot 25% from the three-point line in that game. In the second game against the Los Angeles Clippers, the Lakers shot a whopping 20% from the three-point line. In their third game against the Portland Trail Blazers, the Lakers shot a season low 18.2% from the three-point line. And in their most recent game against the Denver Nuggets, the Lakers shot a season high 26.7% from the three-point line, which was praised. I wouldn't say praised because I know he was just joking, but it was at the point where Patrick Beverley said, well, I think we shot below 20% the last game, and today we're shooting 26%, so at least we're getting better. No, you guys are not getting better. That's still awful. That's awful. I honestly think it's possible for the Lakers to be shooting in the high 30s, maybe low 30s, high 30s at this point of the season, but their shot selection over these past 4 games have just been terrible. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, Anthony Davis, Lonnie Walker, they've all been shooting poor from three-point range, and it's because of their poor shot selection. Throughout the game, if you really watch the Lakers play, you can see that they're trying to set up the three-point shot, but in the last result, they never drive to the lane and try to kick it out to get it open, to get the ball to the wide open man. It's majority coming off down screens and then late in the possession, chucking up a three-point shot, which we all know that's not what the Lakers are good at. They don't have great shooters. They have good shooters, but they don't have those upper echelon of the shooters to be able to bail you out when it's only 2 seconds left on the shot clock. They don't have those catch and shoot players that are able to come off of the down screens and just pull up 25 feet, hand in their face, and knock the shot down. They barely have players that can hit wide open threes. So it's kind of frustrating, even if you're not a fan of the Lakers, but you're a fan of basketball. It's so frustrating watching how terrible they are from the 3-point, and they're not trying to do anything to attack the basket, kind of open up that 3-point by attacking the paint. Because I believe even some of the worst shooters in the NBA, they can hit a wide open corner 3. That's the short. You're basically shooting the mid range if you're in the corner wide open. But they never have that opportunity to get those shots because they aren't driving into the paint and kicking out to the wide open shooter. The next thing I want to talk about is their overall field goal percentage. Once again, the Lakers are 30th in the NBA in field goal percentage, shooting 41.6 from the field. Now, I feel like this kind of attributes to them settling for mid-range to long jump shots. You don't really see any post work with Anthony Davis. And when you do see Anthony Davis working in the post, he is a monster. He is scoring. He is almost automatic. We have LeBron James, who at this point, I feel like time has just caught up to him to the point where he can't drive to the basket 20 plus times a game. He's going to do too much damage to his body. He's trying to preserve his body for the rest of the season. So you'll see him settling for those 15, 20-foot jump shots. You'll see him pulling up a transition 3 every once in a while. You'll see him shoot 10 plus threes in a game. Now, I want to say 10 is kind of a stretch, but he's floating in the 7 to 9 range per game at the moment. And that's just not LeBron's game. LeBron has never been known as a great 3-point shooter. He's worked his way up to become a good 3-point shooter over the years, but he's not good enough to be taking 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, 10 threes per game. And honestly, LeBron can't be the only person to blame in this. You know, you have Patrick Beverley, who's not really there to be a knockdown shooter, even from 3, even from the mid-range, even driving to the paint. I feel like he's an offensive liability, and they have him there to make up for it with their defense, which he has been doing over the last 4 games. but he's non-existent on offense. You have Russell Westbrook, who has been playing better defense, but he's still non-existent on the offensive end. He just had a game where he shot 0 from 11 from the field. You're not going to win a game with your starting point guard going 0 for 11 when you guys can't knock down any open shots. The only bright side to the Los Angeles Lakers on the offensive end, well, I would say two bright sides. One would be Anthony Davis. When he's attacking the paint, Anthony Davis is unstoppable. And two, Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker has really shown that he can be that premier scorer on a team. He had a couple 20-point games. He's shooting not the best from the field, but he is shooting average or above average in each game from the field. So I feel like that's a bright spot for the Lakers, and I want them to utilize Lonnie Walker a bit more. Maybe throw him into the lineups a little bit more, give him a couple more minutes. Just see what he can do out there without AD and LeBron. Have him run with the bench unit a little bit more. Have him handle the ball a little bit more. See what he can do when you just have him out there by himself. Because I feel like he can be that spark for them that kind of gets the offense going. And then when all the attention is brought onto Lonnie Walker, he can dish the ball out to LeBron James, dish the ball out to AD, and then they can make a play. Because teams are really just now focusing on LeBron and AD. They don't care about the other guys. If the other guys get the ball and they want to shoot from 25 feet, so be it. But when you have that extra player that can drive to the paint, attack the paint, make the defense collapse, that's always going to be good for your offense. And I see Lonnie Walker being that person from them. I mean, I know it's only a 4-game sample, but you have to work with what you've seen so far. The 0-4 start, that means something has to change. Something in that offense has to change for this team to be more successful in the future. The next thing I want to talk about, I mean, I feel like it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it has been that big of a deal. Like, this is stupid, but if you play 2K and if you play My GM, My League on 2K, and you get a team of great players, 90 plus overall players, but you just drop their rebound statistic to 0, that team will be awful in that My League series. And that's kind of what we're seeing with the Los Angeles Lakers this year. Looking at their ranks with their offensive, defensive, and total rebounds, they're all sitting in like the 25 plus area. For offensive rebounds, they are 27th in the NBA. For defensive rebounds, they are 21st in the NBA. And overall with rebounds, they are 26th in the NBA. That's almost last for each of those categories. And when you're not getting those offensive rebounds, you're not giving your team an opportunity for those second chance points. And then vice versa on the other side, when you're not grabbing those defensive boards, you're allowing the team multiple second chance opportunities throughout the game, which can be a detriment to a team. It like in a close game, it could be a detriment in a close game because a lot of these games, they're not really they are getting blown out, but it's later on in the game when they're kind of giving up on themselves. Like the Denver game, it was close all the way to, I want to say, the end of the third quarter. The Trailblazers game came down to the last possession. The Clippers game, they were in competition with them until the end of the third quarter. The only game where they really got blown out was their first game of the year against the Golden State Warriors. So think about in those games if they could have gotten 1 or 2 extra offensive rebounds, or they could have gotten a couple more defensive rebounds and not allowed any second chance points. Like rebounds are, I don't want to say they're the deciding factor, but it seems like they are because they're shooting terrible from the field and they're still coming in close to winning some of these games. And then lastly, looking at the numbers, and then I'll get to some of the players that are the problem with the Los Angeles Lakers. Looking at the numbers, they're 25th in assists on the year. There's a lot of isolation ball being played with Russell Westbrook, LeBron James. The ball gets stuck in their hand so many times. Patrick Beverly is also, which he shouldn't even be. He's also somebody who does this a lot. The ball sticks. The ball just sticks with the Lakers, and they try to do a lot of isolation, and they don't look to pass the ball. Everyone on that team is looking to score. I don't. That's one of the things that I want to talk about too. I feel like they need a pure playmaker. Like a lot of people are saying, trade for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. Yeah, they're going to trade for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, but who is their playmaker outside of LeBron, outside of Westbrook? Even now, Westbrook's playmaking isn't even that valuable to the team because of his struggles on offense and on defense. And looking at it, they're not even averaging 100 points per game. They're 29th in the NBA in scoring. So it's like just their offensive struggles, I feel like could be fixed if they move a couple pieces. And I don't know why why they're trying to hold on to these first round picks. No team is going to make a blockbuster trade, especially taking on Russell Westbrook's contract without them receiving a first round pick. You can't just throw Russell Westbrook, some scrub in a second, or Russell Westbrook, some scrub in just one first round pick. Teams are going to want multiple first round picks to take on that $40+ million contract that an aging Russell Westbrook has. And this is the last problem that I have with the Los Angeles Lakers. I get it. LeBron James is arguably one of the greatest players of all time. In some people's opinion, he is the greatest player of all time. But there is no way a 37-year-old LeBron James in year 20 should be leading your team in the three major categories. LeBron is leading the Los Angeles Lakers in points, averaging 25.3 points, rebounds, averaging 10 rebounds a game, and assists, averaging 8 assists per game. He is in year 20. He is 37 years old. Why is Anthony Davis not leading in points per game? Why is Anthony Davis not leading in rebounds per game? Why is Russell Westbrook or Patrick Beverley not leading in assists per game? You guys have to. These role players and Anthony Davis being the best player on the team, he has to take some of that pressure away from LeBron. We all love LeBron. Everybody thinks he's Superman, but he's not made of steel. He is not the man of steel. You can see his body. You can see it. He's getting old. He's not going to be able to do this for, I don't even believe he's going to be able to do this for 60+ games this season, let alone 60+ games and playoff performance. You guys cannot have LeBron working this hard in his 20th season in the NBA. Now that we've talked about the struggles of the Los Angeles Lakers, I want to talk about what's been able to keep them in these games, what's been able to keep them close for the first 3.5, 4 quarters of NBA basketball. And that bright side will be the Los Angeles Lakers defense. This year, the Lakers are 6th in steals, 18th in blocks, and have a defensive rating of 104.9, which is good enough to have them as the 4th best ranked defensive rating team in the NBA. And I feel like that has a lot to do with the addition of Patrick Beverley. I know I was just talking about how he was non-existent on the offensive end, but I feel like his addition on that defensive end to have somebody on that perimeter to be able to lock down on that perimeter and be able to kind of ease that defender into the paint, where the second best defender on the team, Anthony Davis, is man in the paint. I feel like Patrick Beverley he's very useful, and he continues to be useful on that defensive end. And then also Anthony Davis, like, what can you say? Like, with all the injuries, I feel like he's still one of the top 5, top 10 defenders in the NBA, even with his aging, with all the injuries that's been happening. He's not as quick as he used to be. I saw a tweet of how Anthony Davis was moving when he was in New Orleans. Like, he was so fluid with his movement. You know, he never got beat on the first step, defense and offensive wise. He was just very fluid. You can tell he's lost a couple steps since those Pelican days, but he is still very, very effective on the defensive end. And that's what's been able to keep the Lakers within like the 5-10 point range throughout these first 4 games. And I can sit here and talk about everything that's bad for the Lakers. I can talk about everything that's good for the Lakers, but I also want to talk about what I feel the Lakers should do to improve this season. And that first thing is they have to come off of those 2024, and I think it's the 2024 and the 2026 first round pick, and they have to move Russell Westbrook. I mean, you can't put all the blame on Westbrook because the last game he didn't even play, and they still lost by double digits. So I'm not going to be a Westbrook hater, but Westbrook isn't $40+ million good anymore. So no team is going to want to take him on that contract. So you have to move him, and you have to move him fast, because every day that a team sees Westbrook play, that's just tanking his value. And I know I said earlier that Pacers trade with Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, it probably wasn't going to work out because they still weren't going to have a pure guard, but you're still opening up the floor a bit more. and then you're moving Anthony Davis from that center position that he doesn't like to play, have him running power forward, and then have one of the best rim protectors in the NBA at your center position. With an already great defense, you're adding another defensive piece, and then your offensive struggles are kind of eased out because you have a knockdown 3-point shooter who can come off those down screens, who can bail you out with 2 seconds left on the clock, who defensive would not want to leave to go and contest the paint. So say for instance, right now, you have a lineup with Patrick Beverly and and Russell Westbrook out on the court. I don't know if they've ever run that lineup, but just say Patrick Beverly, Russell Westbrook, Lonnie Walker, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. I don't know. Whatever. LeBron James has the ball. He's driving to the paint. No one's really going to want to commit to their 3-point shooter. No one's going to want to commit to Lonnie Walker. No one's going to want to commit to Patrick Beverly or Russell Westbrook. So they're going to stick on that. They're not going to stick on that defender. So they're going to collapse the paint a little bit more. And that makes it harder for LeBron to either finish or kick it out. But if you have a knockdown shooter like Buddy Hield, he's not going to come off of Buddy Hield. And then if he does come off of Buddy Hield is going to make him pay time and time again. So that Indiana Pacers trade, it would work for the Lakers in that sense. But you just have to, they just have to do something. They just have to make a move. Because sitting on those 2024, 2026 first round picks, it's not really doing much for you right now. It's like, do you want to be bad now or do you want to be bad in the future? And right now it's looking like you're really going to be both. But don't be bad when you have 2 of the top 10 players in the NBA on your team. You have LeBron and Anthony Davis. You should not be a play-in team. You should not be just outside of the playoff. You should be a championship contending team every single year. But you're not. So it's like, make something happen. Make something shake. Make a move. Do something. Don't just be bad with these all-time players on your team. But hey, I'm just a guy talking about basketball. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.